So, what do a confused bird and your brain have in common? It really sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But the answer actually reveals something pretty profound about how our ancient instincts are struggling to keep up with the modern world. Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to break down a really fascinating concept from evolutionary biology. It's called the supernormal stimulus, and we're going to explore how it explains why our brains can get totally hijacked by these exaggerated artificial versions of the very things we're programmed to want. And our journey into this whole idea, well, it begins where a lot of great scientific discoveries do, with a simple, kind of strange observation of an animal. In this case, a bird and its egg. Now, before we even get to the bird, let's just frame the core problem we're dealing with today. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it. Our brains are basically running on ancient software, hardwired for a natural world. But today, we live in a world of artificial extremes that this software is just never, ever designed to handle. So, back in the 1950s, a scientist named Nico Tinbergen was studying animal instincts, and he noticed that birds, which have this incredibly powerful, hardwired instinct to care for their eggs, could be tricked. And not just tricked, but tricked in a very specific and predictable way. And this is where it gets absolutely fascinating. So on the left, you've got the normal situation. A mother bird sees her egg, and instinct kicks in to protect it. Simple enough. But then, Tinbergen introduces this ridiculously exaggerated, obviously fake egg. It's bigger, it's brighter, it's more eggy than a real egg could ever be. And what happens? The bird's ancient brain gets completely hijacked. It literally abandons its own real eggs to try and nurture this giant fake. The supernormal version was just more compelling than the real thing. But see, this bizarre behavior wasn't just some weird flaw in the bird. No, it revealed a fundamental principle about how instincts work, a principle that applies directly to us. It's something scientists call an evolutionary mismatch. Which brings us right to our key concept for today, the supernormal stimulus. So what is it? Well, just like it says here, it's an exaggerated, artificial version of a natural cue. Think of that giant fake egg. It's designed to trigger a response that's way, way stronger than the real thing ever could. And this isn't just about birds, not at all. Our brains are also wired up with these ancient instincts. We are hardwired to seek out things like high-energy food, social connection, and opportunities to reproduce. But what happens when that old wiring meets a modern world filled with super sweet junk food, endless social media likes, and on-demand pornography? Well, that's where things get complicated. So, that begs the obvious question then. If that bird was tricked by a giant fake egg, where are the giant fake eggs in our world? Well, truth is, they're everywhere. But for this explainer, we're going to zero in on one of the most powerful and immediate examples, the content on our screens, specifically online pornography, which acts as a perfect textbook supernormal stimulus. So let's actually break down the formula here. What is it exactly that makes online pornography such a powerful, supernormal stimulus for our evolved instincts? This slide really lays it all out. Okay, first, take our natural instinct for novelty seeking. We're naturally drawn to new partners. Online, this is amplified into an infinite variety, just constantly bombarding the brain's reward system. Then you've got the visual cues. In the real world, attraction is complex, right? But here, it's reduced to these curated, often totally unrealistic performances. And maybe most powerfully, the natural effort and risk involved in finding a partner is just gone. It's replaced with instant, on-demand gratification, which can actually train the brain to prefer the easiest, most intense reward every single time. So we have the how, but what about the so what? This constant exposure to a supernormal stimulus, it doesn't just entertain. It can actually start to have a real effect on the brain's wiring. Okay, so this level of constant intense stimulation can have some real effects. First off, desensitization. The brain just adapts, which means it needs more and more intense stimulation to feel the same level of excitement. And that can make real-world intimacy seem, well, kind of dull in comparison. It can also create totally unrealistic expectations about relationships and sex. And because it's such an easy and potent way to get a hit of dopamine, that's the brain's reward chemical, the brain's pathways can actually get rewired to prefer the screen over genuine human connection, which can sometimes lead to compulsive behavior. So ultimately, it brings us right back to our bird. It's the exact same principle. Just as its brain was hijacked to choose the giant fake egg, Our brains can be conditioned to prefer the supernormal stimulus over the authentic, real-world experiences we actually evolved for.
And it is so crucial to understand. This is not just about pornography. That was just one really powerful example. But once you recognize this pattern, this evolutionary mismatch, you start to see it absolutely everywhere in our modern lives.
Yeah, this fundamental conflict, our ancient caveman wiring clashing with modern technology, it's playing out across pretty much every aspect of our lives. I mean, just think about it. Junk food is a super normal stimulus for our evolved cravings for high-energy sugar and fat. Social media feeds give us an endless, curated stream of social validation, hijacking our deep need for community. And video games? They offer these exaggerated rewards and achievements that hijack our natural drive for accomplishment. All of them are just amplified, over-the-top versions of natural cues. And all of this leads us to the final and most critical question. Look, understanding this concept is the first step. But in a world that is literally designed to push our buttons with these supernormal stimuli, the real challenge becomes this. When our ancient instincts can be so easily hijacked, how do we stay in control?